see them take on Fusion University, the team that took Pitt Season 2 as well as contenders. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this one.
And we'll actually have Lethal on the roster here for Goats on that Moira for now. That composition we were talking about before in the 303 rounding itself up for Goats. But on the other side, Who Are You is going to be on that Pharah, and Kraken Lakin will be able to pick up that first kill. But in return, Tensa does find the boot.
They're still finding kills. Fusion University working together to figure this out, and Who Are You somehow manages to stay alive. They're still pushing that pressure over to Gator. Control in favor of Goats for the moment, but quickly Fusion University will be taking over. We will see a little bit of score accruing for the blue team as Goats will die off. They will also lose control. Fusion University winning the first fight.
And a big win at that. Now we'll have that Rocket Barrage at the ready for Who Are You. Of course, all the members for Fusion University still good to go with their armor up and available. Zachary looking for those sidelines. It's going to be denied for now by Kalug, but as we'll see the rest of Goats set up on the other side, they'll look to re-engage. Overall, only that Coalescence at the ready for now.
Look at their ultimates as well. Goat's going to engage aggressively, just like we see a lot of teams opting to play this. But Beast Halo and Who Are You? Look at this combo! As he was just hiding around the corner, they all get laid flat. An impressive display by these two.
Instantly deleted off of the map. Who Are You at the ready? The coordination coming out of Fusion University to instantly take that fight win, and more importantly, denying any ult charge being built for Team Goats. And as we will see already, 47% being built up in favor of Fusion University. They're gonna look to continue holding on strong, but now finally re-engaging Gator, surging forward the rest of his team.
Who Are You untouched again. Coalescence gonna come out from Lethal, who's coming for support at the moment, listed as a flex, so coming in for Majesty, and we will see this fight continue, and no progress yet made as Graviton does come down. Alarm going to be able to cancel that with the Transcendence. No kills for them as the Earthshatter comes out. Gator gets it off, but Who Are You and Zachary do find a kill onto the Reinhardt, but this might be an opportunity. Goats might be able to flip this one here.
Finally, they should be looking to get those last few kills. B-Cell is going to go down. Alarm left around the point as well as Zachary, but the point will finally return in favor of the blue hand side now for Team Goat. Zachary late kill there, and things are looking still somewhat relatively well for Fusion University, considering Sid was kind of caught off guard in the last engage. But that's the thing with this brawly composition, you can really take those ground wars in a rapid fashion.
This is where I feel like things might get scary. Things might actually become a little bit closer. However, with Tensa going off like that, that's a 6v5 advantage to start this fight off, as Wavy still sitting above 90. Energy Beast Halo will get taken down as well. I don't know if they can continue this one here, but Alarm still sticking into this fight. They've taken out Gator, so now things have equalized a little bit.
But the problem is, yeah, Wavy does have that Graviton available. No Transcendence, of course, on the other side. Alarm 3% away, and it's going to be once again Goats coming out on top of this engage. They did commit quite a bit to make sure that it will be the case, but still, outside of the Transcendence, not too much lined up for Fusion University either.
I mean, devastating that he was 3% away when he died, but now they're going to have it for this next fight. Look at Beast Halo and Kraken Lakin changing it up, going with a different kind of pacing here as they're going to switch to the dive tanks and look to engage. Gator close to an Earthshatter. If he does land onto Alarm, they might be able to win this map.
And now we'll look to see those very important targets go through. It's going to be actually Beast Halo who moved off of the map, but Who Are You finds one kill in return. However, it's not going to be quite enough. Already 87% built up for Goats. Elk does manage to find the Resurrect, but kills all in favor of Goats as they will continue to surge forward, looking to get Alarm in the end as well. Coalescence coming out of the side of Lethal, just making sure the team fight is going their favor. Overtime does go through, but at this point, it's going to be a last-ditch effort coming out of Fusion University.
Who Are You just unable to find the kills that he needed right there. Kraken Lakin gonna get melted by Wavy. Graviton will come out just to signify what is going to be the end of this map. And they kill off Alarm as well, and it's just gonna come down to time here. Goats will indeed have this overtime tick down, and they will take this map, but Fusion University not going out without a fight.
We'll see Who Are You now forced to that recall, unable to get back on the point, and we'll have Goats take the first lead in the series for Lijiang. And that's a big problem when you're up against a 3-0-3 composition. It really can be so oppressive. And at the start, things were looking good for Fusion University. That was one of the things, if you at the very least have that fair in your comp, you can take out one of the squishy backline members of GOATS, then you can snowball it to an advantage. But then towards the last half of that round, Fusion University swapping back to the full dive, something we're all too familiar with coming out of them, was still not quite enough.
Yeah, and you have to wonder if that had the value that they wanted. Should they have gone with Zarya and Reinhardt, because you're already going to be in the thick of things. You might have found a little bit more damage, a little bit more pressure, a little bit control. Not sure. However, Fusion University, once again, going with that dive style, they're going to be accompanied by the DPS duo of both a Junkrat and a Pharah.
So a lot of spammy damage is going to be there. Or are you already able to find that first blood? So things, once again, somewhat of a repeat of that last round, as things will look to be favoring the red-hand side of Fusion University for now.
I love the way that they're approaching this, though. Fusion University taking so many angles, and that's exactly what we've seen work so far. Despite anything going on with composition, the one thing that we've seen work against this is just taking multiple angles, forcing them to try to defend against so many different places, and they can't do that. Once they spread out, they're not as strong. Once they are taking damage into the back, they're not as strong, because then it becomes a situation where their supports can be ripped down. Fusion University, off the high ground on both sides, really kind of opened that fight up for themselves.
We'll look to see Zachary get the entry kill of this fight. It doesn't even need a Riptire to delay things even further for their opponents and GOATS, as they're forced to regroup back towards their spawn. And things definitely looking on the up and up right now for FU.
And Riptire at the ready as well. They're going to want to try to pull out the projected barrier from Wavy so that they can actually get an impact kill at some point in this fight. We see the Riptire, it does come out, kind of taking his time with it. Coming around the side, will he find something? Does indeed! Gets two, actually!
Zachary with a pretty important double cast. He gets a third and lethal. Two of the supports already out of the question. And we'll see even Who Are You open things up for the rest of his team. All the damage will go through, and with those last few kills, it's already going to be at 52% in favor of Fusion University. But at the very least for GOATS, now this is going to be their time to shine. They will have quite a few ultimates building up for themselves. However, really unable to force any ultimates from Fusion University is still going to make the fight really close.
What they want to do is not either win the fight here with using their ults or not use many so that they can come into this next fight with a huge advantage. But we already see kills coming on for Fusion University. And remember, again, they still have Barrage. They still have both of their support ults. They have the Riptire coming up soon as well. Kalug will fall late. I mean, we're talking about 15 seconds worth of time with Gator falling low as well and needing some healing to engage this fight. They're going to have a lot of offensive options, but still, Alarm, Elk, they should have plenty of answers to fire back with.
And we'll see Zachary be the first one to look for that. Double kill, as Who Are You claims one himself, and Fusion University definitely looking poised to secure a relatively quick 1-1. Equalizing win here on Lijiang. Moving on to that third point. We'll see them strike back.
We haven't seen any team use the Junkrat as effectively as what we've seen so far from Zachary against this type of composition. We've seen it come out twice, if I'm not mistaken, and both times all it really did was feed into the energy of the Zarya and the ultimate charge of the Moira so that they could engage very easily, you know, right off the back of that, have their cooldowns come back up, and then all of a sudden they have a distinct advantage going into the fight. So this is interesting how not only is it working, but it's incredibly effective alongside the Pharah.
And if they're going to be playing it on Control Center, can't see why not they won't be sticking with it on Night Market. But interestingly enough, we will see Beast Halo onto the Reinhardt once again. So a few adaptations coming in here for Fusion University. We'll see the rest of GOATS still surge forward. Alarm's going to be the first one to claim that kill, but we'll see him go down in the end as a result.
Still so much damage that they have to deal with. Yes, they took out Alarm, but they haven't taken out the Junkrat. They haven't taken out the Pharah. They're going to lose Kalug's mech, as he's going to get backed out as well, and this objective should easily go in favor of Fusion University as we see Zachary pulling back to the point. The rest of his team will clean up for him.
And then positioning out of GOATS, just unable to get any kills off early meant that they were backed up in the very awkward corner for themselves, unable to get those kills, unable to find any advantages, but at the very least, moving on forwards, gonna be interesting to note Beast Halo versus Gator, that Reinhardt v Reinhardt matchup.
See Wavy trying to get some energy going into this fight. They're just going to go right to the point as Zachary does pull out the Riptire. He might find a lot of value out of this if he sneaks his way in, goes up over the top, looking for Lethal in the back and takes him down. Earthshatter coming out. Not going to find the kills as now it's Fusion University's turn to bring in the damage.
And damage they definitely brought a bunch of, as we'll see Zachary get that final kill onto 10's Alarm, still having that armor as well, of course, who will be safe on the Zenyatta. And yes, they gave up 18% onto the point, but overall still getting that team fight win and forcing a few ultimates out of Goats will keep things somewhat favored for Fusion University.
One of my favorite things about the last fight was Zenyatta getting the barrage kill onto Kalug's mech, but nonetheless, coming back into this one, Earthshatter does actually connect onto Wavy, I believe, and now they will cancel each other out with the charge. Self-destruct going out, won't find a kill, and it's going to be support ult after support ult for both of these teams as they're looking to keep the dream alive for their respective sides. And Kraken Lacken should go down, but here's the Graviton Surge and still kills in favor, somehow, of Fusion University.
Beast Halo with the charge, the manly Reinhardt going in, finds one big kill onto the Lucio, makes sure Gator's out of the picture as well, and then finally secures a triple kill for himself, so why not? And with so much committed out of Goats, will be extremely difficult for them to still get the win here on Lijiang.
He's now re-engaging. Beast Halo, he does have the Earthshatter. He's gonna get a couple, and again, it's the barrage from Who Are You? They love this combo between these two guys, and it has worked time and time again.
And now looking at Zachary still having that Riptire up and running, will look for those squishy backline members, because again, only thing Goats have to work with will be that Earthshatter alongside the Coalescence. Already coming out, gets spotted though, so the Riptire might not be as successful, but still finds one.
Sit didn't think it was coming for him. Earthshatter gonna come out from Gator, and now it's Coalescence followed up with as well, as they're looking to put some pressure out, but still the Junkrat finding the damage, and Alarm has been so lethal throughout this game, certainly more lethal than I'd say Lethal has been, but now we will see somehow Fusion University, they're hanging on to this one. Zachary under fire as he does go down, and it seems like Goats might have an opportunity here to finally get control of the point once again.
A Beast Halo is not going to go down without a fight. Finds 2 kills. Kraken Lacken still alive to Earthshatter, denies that re-entry for Goats at Fusion University. Take the first map win.
And Wavy also unable to get back onto that point as well on the Zarya. Beast Halo having a day for himself. We talked already a lot about, what it means to have solid Reinhardt play, enabling your Reinhardt play. Look at this one, the ability to turn the fight around despite a Graviton going down. You were already kind of down on momentum as well. And off of the back of a couple of clicks of the keyboard and a couple of movements of the mouse, he's able on a Reinhardt to turn a fight completely back around.
And that's the beautiful thing with the more recent betas. There's a lot of emphasis on that Reinhardt, on those Reinhardt v Reinhardt battles as well, with those mind games when it comes to the Earthshatters. Fortunately, Gator wasn't quite as impactful as Beast Halo this time around, but going up next into that hybrid matchup, or rather map, this matchup could still go really either way.
It really could. I mean, I definitely expect Gator to figure some things out and be able to start kind of matching up with Beast Halo, but Beast Halo has really stuck himself out, I think, a little bit. But talking about the next map, Hybrid, that's going to be Noombani. Don't go anywhere, guys, because we'll be going there right after this short break.
We are heading into map 2 in this matchup, Fusion University versus Goats. And Hirix, is it safe to say that Fusion University already have Goats downloaded?
It seems like they have indeed downloaded them. I mean, this is a composition that we've seen time and time again. It was a matter of time before someone figured it out, and who better than Fusion University? Now, as we move forward into Numbani, I think this is where things start becoming even more one-sided for Fusion University. This is the kind of map dynamic that Fusion University loves to play on. Will they continue here on Numbani, that same kind of style that worked for them later into Lijiang Tower, where they're bringing in the Pharah, bringing in the Junkrat? I'm not sure. I mean, it's certainly possible. It's, I mean, viable here. You can easily pull it off, especially if you think that Goats is going to be running that comp still, and it's possible they might. However, Goats, they have been known to play other things. Sit and Wavy can play double sniper. We've seen that from them in the open division as well. I'm not sure what to expect, though, out of them, and that's the question. I think, you know, with Fusion University, you kind of know what you're getting. You know that you can get a dive team. You know that you have a team that can play well, cohesively, and that's something I think that sets them apart from a lot of other teams. But with Goats, that's the question mark to me. Are they going to continue running this 3-0-3? Are they going to run it into the brick wall that they have met in Lijiang Tower? Or are they going to go to double sniper? Are they going to go to, you know, a dive with the double sniper? Are they going to continue playing that Reinhardt Zarya? It's hard to say. It depends, I think, a little bit on which part of the stage we're going to go to. But double sniper, I wouldn't be surprised to see.
And I think that's the key word right there. Which part of the stage are we at with Numbani? When it comes to that first point, there's definitely a lot of options. And it just makes sense for them to run that double sniper comp once again. As you said, Sid and Wavy have known to play it quite a bit, and to a good degree as well. But when you're up against Fusion University, as said, we expect to see a lot more dive out of them, a lot more Pharah Junkrat play, but it seems like the team's already go. It's going to be Numbani, map number 2. Fusion University already up 1-0.
So not going, actually, for the double sniper, instead putting Sit onto the Tracer. We do see that same, kind of the same composition, but actually the off-tank going to be Brigitte. Kraken Lacken going to be playing that as opposed to the D.Va instead. And who are you? Once again in the sky here as the Pharah. They will meet Gator with a couple of rockets and a plethora of other types of damage as he goes down. But still interesting, the compositions we're seeing on both sides.
We'll see how this one is going to play out. That really seems to be one of the key roles when it comes to opening things up on this first point from what we've seen in the Season 3 so far. But who are you? We'll find the kill onto Lethal. Gator retaliates to the one kill coming out of him. Sid finds Elk in the back, and that's the big pickup now. We will see things definitely looking much better for this lineup of Goats.
However, who are you? Did find that kill onto Wavy, so perhaps they have an opportunity to get in here as Kraken Lacken tries to find his way onto the point. Actually will get taken down, and the point will be capped out by Goats, with Sit finding that kill, as well as a couple of late ones here. Fusion University just going to have to give those up, try to farm up some ultimates themselves as they do fall out. However, Goats with a very quick take, and interestingly enough, you see them running a double support with the Brigitte Mercy combination. And we've seen that as well already, and we've also kind of noticed some of the drawbacks of running those two together.
And now we will see whether or not they can open things up with something like a pulse bomb or Wavy with that Dragon Strike just to set up the rest of the team as they will look to continue pushing that payload further. Of course, on the other side, with all of that damage spam, we'll have both the Riptide as well as the Rocket Barrage available. Zachary is going to be the first one to pull it out. We'll look for any of those targets. Tyre itself doesn't get spotted quite just yet. Look for Gator, finds him.
He's so sneaky with them too, and as they go back into the fight, you can already see such a heavy advantage for Fusion University. They might be able to pull the last 4 members of their team back to the respawn, and they do indeed, but Fusion University still has won this fight. They have an opportunity now to get back into position, and Wavy on this Hanzo holding on to that Dragon Strike. We'll have to see how they want to utilize this, but they have an answer. Transcendence is available for Alarm.
And look at that, Zachary, after the Riptire, will make this upwards to the Widowmaker, looking to contest those DPSs coming out of the side of Goats, but it's going to be the Dragon Strike coming out. Fine. But who are you? It's been all too lethal with that Rocket Barrage, and now even the Wavy gets another kill there. It's not going to be quite enough. However, look at that. Nobody out of Fusion University was able to contest, and now it will have 5 minutes and 6 seconds left here for that last point for Goats.
This could be devastating, actually, for Fusion University. They're at a point in the map where they like to be at, but they would I mean, obviously really love for the respawn timer for Goats to be a lot long, not the respawn timer, but the respawn distance to be a lot further away. They actually had that sneak through. Zachary going to land the damage that he needed to on Sit to force that recall out. But as this comes around the corner, expect Zachary to try to find the kill onto Sit. Not going to find it just yet. And there's the rally to start the fight from Lethal.
And now they did pop that Valkyrie as well, coming out of Tensa, just looking to keep all those members that are clumped up, all those beefy frontline members of Goats, but it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade as Sid was lying away on the back row, gets a second kill onto Alarm with the pulse bomb, and it is Goats running all over Fusion University.
And I talked about already how devastating that last fight could have been, and Sit will take down Who Are You. Everybody from Fusion University is falling right now. Goats looking to clean up here 2 meters away. They do it, and what a time to do it in. Imagine the difference, though. If Fusion University would have been able to hold that fight out, they still had 5 members up in that fight, and it just got snuck through. And now look at this timer, 4:05 for Goats on their attack.
At this point, they're definitely looking much better in this matchup. Fusion University not quite on point with the calls or just with the positioning. We'll see what they're going to bring to the table with their offensive push. And I like the fact that out of Goats, we did see a different approach. We did see a few different things, such as Sid on that Tracer. It seems to be still one of those key picks when it comes to Numbani.
Yeah, I mean, having the Tracer, we've seen it time and time again, both on EU and NA, where they like to get up into the backline, cause a lot of mayhem. They like to even push some of that damage into the tanks so that the tanks can't really make the necessary space. It kind of helps out, you know, your backline as well. So I really like it. I like the way that they utilized it as well. But I think that timer perhaps indicates some issues that were on the part of Fusion University, more so than it indicates, you know, all of the great things, granted, that Goats was able to do. Yes, they were phenomenal. Yes, this is so appealing to be able to see them pull something different out, because I'm not sure what people were expecting. Was it going to be the 3-0-3 throughout, or if they got shut down, will they pull something out? I personally expected 2-2-2 to come out at some point if they did get shut down, and they did. And this comes out, and they're actually quite good. Even still, they're still able to do well. But again, a couple of just letting that point go through point B, I'm sure Fusion University is going to be kicking themselves in the butt on that one.
And now that they will go for the Arista style of composition here for Team Goats when it comes to the defense. We've seen so many different approaches, especially on EU when it comes to positioning said main tank throughout this first point objective. But now it's around will start. It's going to be Zachary and Who Are You on that Pharah and Widow for them.
So once again, with that same support combination of Brigitte. Oh, Sit. Oh, Sit.
Oh.
You have been spotted in the bushes, lurking there, waiting. Who Are You found you. The recall wasn't great there because he was just sitting there for so long. So they found the kill easily. 6v5 advantage. Again, not a lot of long-term healing going to come out, especially if they manage to find Tensa. The damage was out there, but Beast Halo falls as he goes deep into the enemy backline.
But setting up Gator all by his lonesome self on that particular position does mean that Who Are You gets the kill in the end. And overall, Fusion University looking to capitalize will find those last few kills. One tick already on the board, and they will be looking to still have a good time for themselves on Embody as well.
Despite Beast Halo going so aggressive into the backline, what he did do is allow for the rest of his team to jump onto the point and get some control. It was almost impossible for Goats to push back into that one and get it back. Who Are You was just devastating anybody that was left behind. 5-17, Fusion University trying to equalize or potentially even better the time set by Goats.
And they will have quite a few ultimates to work with as well on the other side. We did see a swap come out of Goats. It's going to be lethal on that Zenyatta instead, but Zachary with that first kill gets a second now onto Wavy. No DPS members left here for Goats. Means that we will see just Fusion University once again winning this team fight out.
And I love the way that they play against this too. Seeing Zachary on an off angle, just taking easy shots like that, just moving side to side, while Beast Halo and Kraken Lakin are just so protected despite not having their supports directly on top of them throughout that push.
I like the fact that Fusion University is also denying any potential advantageous defensive posture out of their opponents. So far as Gator already going to be jumping really low, forced to use that shield, but the Dragon Strike is going to push everyone away from Fusion University off of the payload or just split them apart. But Sid unfortunate there, buddy, as Who Are You is gonna get a kill onto Wavy, gets a second now
Oh.
to Kaluge as he launches a self-destruct up into the air, and even though the Resurrect is there, gets instantly punished. And Fusion University definitely not backing out just yet.
They have an opportunity to get a fantastic time themselves, and Who Are You will not back down, not ever. We've seen so many insane plays out of this guy throughout Pit, Season 2, moving on to Season 3, even through Contenders. This guy has been so solid. Fusion University backing up now, though, and look at this. Look where Who Are You is at. Look at his positioning as he goes forward. He wanted the barrage, but he can't get it with a Transcendence from Lethal coming out to deny that one, but he still has this, and there will be no answer moving forward.
Especially since Zachary finds another head, and Gator now going down. Who Are You with that follow still has that barrage available. Will not look for anything just yet. Beast Halo did cause a big diversion off in the background. We'll see Lethal now look to solve things all by loads himself on that payload, but not for that long. And even Dill, we saw Goats take this third point in really rapid fashion. Fusion University potentially even better.
Lethal just made a swap as he came back. Barrage still ready. He's going to drop down. Who Are You? Already found Tensa. A lot more damage to follow, but he does go down. Self-destruct comes out as well. Will find Kalug outside his mech. Elk does res up Who Are You, so that's a full kill of Goats. As Fusion University with 6 up will cap that point as well. Wow.
Oh man, and we're gonna move on to some morning body action, and quite a bit of it, considering the fact they managed to get it an even better time. Means that Goats will be swapping back to the attack, and while yes, their composition looked great, they managed to find all of those different kills, open up the first objective, then cap that second point. But as we've said, Fusion University, so they really didn't quite play to expectation, and now that we'll be moving to the second time around here with their defensive side, I wouldn't expect them to have, or rather do the same mistake.
Kraken Lacken already going out with the Diva this time on defense. Last time we saw him on the Brigida. Zachary making the swap over to the Widowmaker. And this is what they ran in their attack. This is what Zachary also ran to start off this matchup at the beginning of the day as well. And I think they like this because it's going to put some pressure where, you know, these healers aren't going to be able to keep up with this instantaneous damage, that spike pressure that comes out from a Widow hitting your head over and over and over again.
Especially since Elk is going to be there with that damage boost. Of course, Alarm also been on point with those discorded targets. And on the other side, it seems like they will still stick to that double support setup with Lethal once again onto that Brigitte. And now the round will start. Look to see who's going to get that first pick.
Well, they have some vision now. Goat's going to be looking to go up. And Zachary on this close corner, actually, he's going to be looking to fall back now. And they're going to engage. Fusion University falling back, trying to get safe distance away from the enemy and still have to protect Beast Halo and Kraken in this situation, or else they won't be able to control the point.
As they already have one tick on the board, rapidly getting to that second, nobody able to contest just yet. Beast Halo might be able to jump back, but Zachary is going to find 2 kills, and maybe finally we might see Fusion University stabilized, but they did give up so much on that point.
Yeah, they will take this fight, but they have to be a little bit more aggressive. Kraken Lacken was in there alongside Beast Halo, and because he was stuck around that corner, wasn't able to receive the healing that he needed in that situation. So they dropped 2 of those ticks already, 92.8% captured on that last fight. But Fusion University now looking to try to make sure that they sustain those 2 tanks so that they continue contesting the point and hold this one out for much longer.
Gator looking to go in with Kalug. Will be unable to find anything else outside of the Diva, but Who Are You will find much more in the backline of Ghost. Gets that kill onto Lethal, finds another one onto Wavy, uncontested with a Rocket Barrage, and as a result, Fusion University will be running away with another teamfight win. Nothing lost for it too.
And Kraken Lacken gonna go ahead and reset his mech, make sure he's ready for that next fight. However, this is where things get a little scary for them. They have Alarm at 96%. We've already seen how devastating sometimes it gets when he's just a couple percent away. This time he won't be, though. He does manage to get that Transcendence, as we do see engaging, you know, that double reset off these tanks. Kalu gonna go diving into the backline. They're already on the point. Beast Halo taking a lot of pressure.
will force out that Transcendence out of Alarm. Self-destruct will go up top, will not find the target. Sid, though, gets that target to kill with that pulse bomb in return. Kraken will return fire with that self-destruct himself, as we'll see him lose that mech suit. And who are you? Still getting another onto Wavy. It is going to be a back and forth overall, though, with that Resurrect still being available with that resource. Alarm off onto the side will be taken down, and finally Goats do win this one out and get that payload in the end.
Now, how far can they go with this payload? I will determine what Fusion University's mood is going to be like going into their attack, because, you know, if they push this all the way to point B with 1.5 minutes as their timer, this is going to be tough for Fusion University to do the same. However, they did have a good attack themselves. Sit here aggressively on the high ground right now. And we see Gator actually on the Reinhardt. Won't have the ability to be protected by Azaria, as we do see Kalug still holding on to that Diva pick. Lethal going to make a swap himself, though, going over to that Moira. And still, Zachary and Who Are You onto these DPS. They've been communicating well. You can even tell with the way that they're fighting. We can go into that later if we need to. However, Wavy with this Dragon Strike looking for an opportunity to unleash this.
We'll see whether or not that will open things up for the rest of his team, as so far forcing that Diva to disengage for Kraken means that the Matrix isn't quite going to be there to contest that Hanzo, and the Dragon Strike will come out to play, but doesn't find any targets. It says it's going to be Sid, who does get that kill with the pulse bomb, but the Rocky Barrage out of Who Are You? It's going to secure 2 kills as well. Alarm now forcing that Transcendence, but 20 seconds left. Zachary finds Kalug, again unable to do, or rather have any safety out of that mech once he uses that self-destruct. And in the end, once more, it's Fusion University coming out on top.
Well, Gator gonna get the healing he needs in this situation. If Gator fell, they would have no hope at making it back to this point and being able to push it any further. Oh, Kaloo coming back under the Doomfist. He finds Beast Halo. An opening has been found for Goats. They need this next point, as Wavy does find Zachary as well. Has Fusion University given up a little bit too much before this fight started?
It's not over just yet. Both Resurrects now expanded. Who are you looking to turn this around? It's going to be Sid who takes them out in the end, but Sid with this double kill, can he make it happen? The Air Shatter comes out unsuccessful, though, coming out of Goats. Beast Halo still with that Primal Rage, looking to contest, looking to push them away. Pulse Bomb once again gets held, but Alarm coming back in with the Transcendence will keep that front line alive.
Overtime ticking, though. Someone needs to get on the point, and Sit recalls to try to get there, and he wasn't quick enough. Lethal was there as well. Fusion University make a stop. Really having to duke it out in that one, though. But 92.06 meters gained after taking that first objective, moving that payload forward towards the next. Fusion University have a tough task ahead of them. We already saw, though, how efficient they can be on an attack of their own. What do you give their chances here?
Very favorable, but I want to see the defensive side of Goats. What are they going to bring? If they're going to set up Gator once again on their Orisa, because one of the big problems, I think, for them last time around was the way they played around that Orisa. Just really wasn't quite up to snuff when compared to what we've seen in the EU side, and how they really like to play around that corner, even though you would, yes, of course, give up potentially 1 to 2 ticks. You still would have those prolonged team fights that would go in your favor. So now, it seems like they go back onto it.
They'll be bringing in that same support combo once again, Brigitte and Mercy, starting off this fight on the attacking side. For the offense of Fusion University, Zachary and Who Are You bringing back the Widowmaker and the Pharah themselves. And interestingly enough, Lethal was kind of toying with the idea of the Zenyatta, opted away from it instead, and I believe they wanted to provide a little bit more peeling, not only for their backline, but also potentially for their tanks. When we do see Beast Halo and Kraken jumping up there, we'll be able to help shut them down a little bit.
And again, the same approach coming out of the defensive side of the Goats. This is the main reason why I don't like this Orisa setup, is because your backline, once they do dive right in, will be very vulnerable. But now, as we see Sid go down, things already will be looking definitely very good for Fusion University.
Lethal on the point right now should go down as well, somehow staying alive for quite a while, but Fusion University with Zachary on this Widowmaker starting to clean things up. Wavy gonna sneak his way around. I think they forgot about him because who are you? Almost got taken out. He does indeed. Wavy, along with Sit, might turn this fight back around. Gator at 26 HP. They're gonna kill Elk, and Goats take this fight and give up nothing in the process.
You cannot forget about Wavy just sitting in the backline, still left alive. Does manage to find it. Big kills to make sure we do see Goats once again emerge victorious, and now at the ready with the Dragon Strike. It's going to be that much more difficult for Fusion University to secure this one. No ticks on the board, but still 2 minutes and 55 seconds should potentially be enough.
Oh, recall down for Sit. He gets the healing from Lethal in the armor to follow it as well. Dragon Strike, as we mentioned already, up for Wavy. Up top now on this high ground. It's going to be very tough, as you talked about, for Fusion University to push into this, to find an opening. They need to find a pick quickly. They're going to dive right into that backline. They're going to leave Gator completely behind when he does have this bongo up, and there's the Dragon Strike coming out. That's going to finish off the Kraken Lacken and take out both of the tanks. So now Goats will win this fight as well.
So I guess this is where they proved me wrong and why this setup can't really work, because Gator left by his loans himself to his own devices, if you will, when that supercharger was just able to dish out so much damage to that front line of Fusion University, and now pushing them back towards their spawn. We'll look to see the rest of Goats just regroup and make the most of that potential rally coming out of Lethal, and now we'll see what FU can do.
Now we're going to be seeing Alarm with that Zenyatta. He's got Transcendence ready. Who are you coming online with the Barrage? That's turned fights time and time again for them, but they need it now for sure. 140 on the clock. Beast Halo going up, pulling Kalug back as he takes the pressure, and Alarm already got killed, just as Zachary did as well. Who are you did find the kill he needed to, but without the backup of this Transcendence, I don't know that they have the staying power to stick in this fight.
They do bring in the Resurrect, but it's gonna be potentially too late, as Who Are You has managed to get another kill. At the very least, with that Resurrect coming through, they will have that Transcendence, and now Dragon Strike will be there, but as said, considering that perspective, support ultimate still online for Fusion University, they will look to get even more built up onto this point. Beast Halo does take down Wavy, and then Who Are You finds another one, but Sid still alive on that Tracer will be dangerous.
Oh, he's got to pull back here. The Mercy coming through from Tensa. They're going to get that healing, and I think they're going to back off here. They don't look to re-engage unless Sit can go in and find something. He's going to find a rocket to his chest instead. And it seems as though Fusion University should be able to clean this one up. This time, the retake from Goat's not going to work out. Wavy and Sit cannot get the job done this time around. And Fusion University now, with 30 seconds left, have to move that payload virtually all the way to point B.
That's definitely going to be a daunting task, considering that on the other side, Wavy should be able to charge up that Dragon Strike relatively soon. We'll at the very least have that Valkyrie good to go here for Fusion University. Even Who Are You available with that Rocket Barrage will be looking dangerous himself. But as you said, now 10 seconds left on the clock. They should have, or they have to push this one through overtime. And as we see this lineup of Goats now re-engage, we'll have that Dragon Strike come through.
Oh, Alarm gets sniped out by Wavy. Dragon Strike going through. Beast Halo's going to somehow find a way to jump over it. Wavy will find the kill, but not before Tensa goes down to the Barrage. And without their Mercy, I don't know if they can hold on in this fight with just Brigitte healing. Kalug gonna maybe turn this fight around, though, as he does find two supports, an Elk and Kraken Lacken, and he's still going off. Look at this. It's all Kaluge all day long for Goats. They might have this one as overtime is ticking. Coming back from the respawn now. They will not make it, and Goats take the second map.
And we have a series on our hands. Heroics now up 1-1. We will at the very least have an escort map down the line. That will be Dorado, but already Goats proving that, hey, we can definitely play something outside of that 3-0 comp.
Look at this turnaround too, Kalug, with this massive self-destruct, then going in for the burst damage onto Zachary, helping to secure that last kill on the Beast Halo. Swept them up. If he didn't find that there, I mean, with a massive respawn advantage that Fusion University had, they might have had an opportunity to come back into that one, win that fight, and then maybe create some momentum where they could have, you know, pushed through that the rest of that map. Again, want to reiterate the beginning of that map, how Fusion University got to that stage. So I mean, certainly a lot went into the win there for Goats, but playing very well despite not playing the 3-0-3 that a lot of people probably expected them to bring out throughout.
And coming up next, it will be an assault map, so stay tuned. You don't want to miss out. And now we are tied 1-1. And next up will be Hanamura. But before we head into that particular map, talk to me a little bit about how Goats really made that win happen on Numbani.
Right, so we know a lot about Fusion University at this stage. We've seen them in Pit Season 2. We've seen them in Contenders. They're a fantastic team. You know, all of their parts work well together. You talk about, you know, the setups that we saw from Beast Halo leading into Who Are You? You know, talk about from main tank to DPS. What we've seen as well from the main tank and the off tank and separation away from their supports. How they're able to help sustain each other using the Winston bubble, using the defense matrix between those two to be able to make sure that they're creating space for Zachary on the Widow. Like I said, they're working well together, but the impact of a tiny little mistake on one map, that's what, you know, can really turn the tides of a map. And Goats did very well to make sure that they punished that, to make sure that they took advantage of that situation where, you know, they were playing fantastically themselves. They had a couple of great moments, a couple of heroic stuff come out from Kalug at the end as well to shut down that final push. And I mean, so far, we haven't really seen many, you know, if any, really glaring mistakes at all from a team that comes out of Open Division and is taking on arguably the best team out of Contenders, or probably inarguably because they won. And I mean, I think one of the definite standouts that we need to talk about is Wavy. I mean, look at how he was able to stop an entire attack almost by himself by sneaking his way back into a fight, taking down the DPS, both Who Are You and Zachary, to begin it and create openings for his teams that otherwise would not have been there if probably anybody else was playing in that position.
And what it is such a close matchup, right? It's going to come down to those heroic plays, those small, minute details when it comes to getting that advantage and in the end, securing that win on the map. And considering the fact that we all are moving onto Assault, knowing what you've seen before out of Goats on Numbani, what are going to be your expectations?
Well, to attack, definitely going to be a 3-0-3, especially on a map like this. And yep, that is the 3-0-3 for Goats to start things off. Fusion University going to go with the Junkrat and Widow, opting away from the Pharah that they typically play and jumping right onto the point, almost already getting this first tick. Actually achieving it already is Goats, looking for control.
And looking to brawl, we will see Wavy set up very aggressively, already at 45%. It's going to be Kaluk with that first kill onto Beast Halo going out. We will finally have Fusion University look to contest, but it's all about Goats as they're already at 94.1%. Get kill after kill, secure themselves that first point with 7 minutes and 20 seconds. This is just rough.
You have to find a way to kind of crack the armor a little bit before the fight starts. If you allow them to get to the point and set up, that will create problems long term. Kalug going to be jumping in with the rest of the team. Look how easily they're able to turn this fight into a devastating setup for themselves as they go ahead and push into this. The Fusion University setting back up themselves. They've already found 2 kills, so they might have just enough of an opening, but someone needs to get onto the point. Finally, they do, as Kalug throws up the self-destruct. Will not be able to be the hero this time around. Graviton comes down as well, collects them all as they can, and still, it seems as though with 6:40 on the clock, that Goats have stolen away both points. Fusion University, what happened?
Oh man, just banking on that damage coming out of Who Are You potentially with that Junkrat pick, and even Zachary on the Widowmaker finding those sidelines for those squishy targets did not happen. And that's again the big thing with this 3-0-3 comp. You want to brawl, you want to play aggressive, and what better team to do just that than Goats?
And you can't take anything away from that as well. Yes, they brought out that brawl comp and all that, but they also, you know, just on that map we just witnessed, brought in a 2-2-2, and it worked for them. They're tied up now off the merits of their 2-2-2, now bringing in a different look to start pushing this map in, and they award themselves a fantastic time, a very workable time. And this could be a situation where it looks a lot like Numbani, but we already know, you know, how devastating this can be in a situation where you're looking at 6:37 on the clock, and that's one of the best times we've seen in Pit. On this map specifically, and on realistically kind of any map, I would say, of 2CP. And Fusion University are somehow going to have to get close to matching it, and then look on point A, trying to defend against a 3-0-3 that will likely follow on the first attack to come from Goats outside of regulation if they don't get stopped completely. But This is a composition that I would not be surprised to see this actually come out. Kalug and Gator. It wasn't necessarily Kalug every time, but actually Akawa, I believe, was their other tank throughout Open Division. They ran this quite a lot. I believe it was 4 or 5 times that we saw them utilize this throughout Open Division playoffs, and every single time it didn't work. So I'm curious to see how it's going to work out against Fusion University, because with a record like that against a team like this, you have to wonder why they wanted to pull it out. But they're still going to do it either way, and opting for sit on the Junkrat, which I believe is actually the thing that's different about this composition.
It will, at the very least, have a lot of damage to spare, that is for certain. But on the other side, it will be the double sniper combo. It's gonna be Wavy with that first blood already, taking one off of the Storm Arrows and pushing the opposition away.
And this is their way of getting armor back into the comp as well, really making it very difficult for a dive composition to jump on them if they can get ahead. You see some adaptations coming out from Fusion University, and I just mentioned how if you let too much of this go, Goats will get that armor start rolling, and it's going to be very difficult for Fusion University with this dive composition to make this work, but already they're diving right in onto the point. They're looking to get that first tick control, but kill has come out first sit as they took out Kraken Lakin's mech, but didn't find the kill on him, and that's going to be a clean sweep actually for Fusion University.
It's still looking to retaliate on the Junkrat, left alive on that point, will eventually go down, but Fusion University do get it in the end with quite a bit of time to spare. Of course, they've got to the second point, and now Goats playing serious maybe, finally with a free comp.
Oh no, that was serious. They've pulled that out a lot throughout their history with this roster. Going through Open Division playoffs, they have tried that many a time, and it has not worked from what I've seen at least. I think maybe one time it has worked for them on Hanamura, if I'm not mistaken, but this time around not working at all. Fusion University make a quick couple of changes, and they completely open that side up very easily for themselves. Who are you actually in the backline, unnoticed, untouched, unseen? No one even did anything about it. They're just doing that same classic thing with this composition of just completely ignoring the Pharah, even this time, despite Who Are You being right behind them.
But if they win those ground wars, that's where it all matters here for this side of Goats, as Notex do go through here for the offensive side of Fusion University. But now even committing that Transcendence alarm, but the rest of his team will look to build set advantage, potentially sit still in that trap. Will be shielded up with a projected barrier, so we'll manage to stay alive for now. But it's going to be Zachary going out in the end. Self-destruct now pop, but unable to find that angle. Never mind, gets one onto Lethal, and as a result, Fusion University continue their assault.
This is winnable here, and we see Barat come out, and actually this time Who Are You won't take it, but Beast Halo will go forward, looking to be aggressive. They will clean things up. They have one tick already here, Brunch, and Zachary back into this fight has found a kill onto Sit, and now it's all about trying to deny the Earth Shatter, and he gets batted up into the air, so Gator not going to find the value we're used to seeing from that ultimate. Kalug back onto the Doomfist. We've seen him go back to that a couple of times. This time not going to be as effective. 4:54 in the clock here now, and if Fusion University does manage to take this, it will be, obviously a worse time than from what we saw from Goats, but still a very solid time to work through after regulation finishes out here.
And we'll see them eventually get it a sense, unable to go back in. But as you said, even past regulation time, this is still looking very good for Goats, and now we will have another look at what Fusion University will bring to the table with their attack, as well as what Goats will do with their first point defense. As you said, okay, yes, that was a composition they did play in the Open Division, but when you're up against a team like Fusion University, it's going to get instantly punished. I mean, even in Pit Season 2, we saw a full builder comp on Hanamura versus Fusion University, and they definitely knew how to play around it.
Perhaps us calling it regulation time for this map isn't the best word. I mean, this is going to be a pure time bank style setup with both of these teams just running it in as often as possible, as aggressively as possible. We know Fusion University is a very aggressive team, a very solid team. Goats is an aggressive team, especially with this composition that they like to run on attack, that 3-0-3 brawl style. But look at this again. it's going to be what they actually, I think, run more often, which is the Tracer from Sit, and still playing with that Hanzo from Wavy. But this is the more classic style of playing this composition that we've seen from Goats. This is what they played a lot through Open Division playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. So this is more, I guess, catered to what they played before. But this is against, again, Fusion University going double sniper. They're going to have to deal with an Orisa shield, but again, it just hasn't worked yet, and they're still trying it.
We'll see whether or not with that slight adaptation, that slight change in Sit, will be looking better for them overall. Now, instantly spotting it out, it will be back onto the full dive come here for Fusion University, looking to recreate their past success.
Going right in. Look at who are you sneaking his way into the back line. They're going to see that turret on the other side. And that's going to put pressure not only on Beast Halo, but also on Zachary. Look how low they are as they're going for that first tick. They won't secure it just yet. And it will be Goats taking this first fight. You always see Alarm on that board. You always see him taking some kills. He's going to take 2 this time, though. Sit. Taken down pretty low, and that's going to force the res out from Tensa onto Lethal just to keep their other support in this fight, as we will likely see Fusion University re-engage quickly here.
And we did see a beautiful ult come out of Kaluk to really secure that first down to Beast Halo, a very important one. Without that extra barrier, was unable to keep the rest of his team safe. But now the Dragon Strike is going to come out.
Eats up.
But gets eaten up by the Matrix, and now already with 1 tick on the board, Lethal's gonna be a very dangerous spot, gets taken out, and already, even though we see some retaliation coming out of this team of Goats, it's still looking favored for Fusion University. But as I say that, Wavy, okay, he did, but rather wasn't able to recreate those heroic plays. Fusion University will have 3 minutes and 33 seconds left for their attack.
And when you see who are you on the Genji, if I'm on the other team, my legs start shaking, man. I'm worried as ever, because when he gets this blade up, that's when things get even scarier. He's going to be able to dash through everybody. His mechanical ability on this hero is second to none, I think, at this level. I don't know anyone that would be willing and able to be able to contest that fact, dispute that at all. Fusion University looking to re-engage. You see who are you ready with the blade. Is he going to pull it out? The stick come out from Sit. Takes down Alarm, who had Transcendence, and I don't think it's likely at all that we see anything used here by Fusion University. They're going to look to reset on this one, and they will come in for another round. 2:45 on the clock here.
Really important pick there for this lineup of Goats as Alarm. We've seen, especially with Fusion University, how well they really pair up that Transcendence with the blade for Alarm and who are you in the past, and would be looking very dangerous. But this is going to be Tensa on the Ana, and setting that Ana up on the second point defense is something we've seen a lot, even during Pit Season 2, and now with the more recent changes to her, should be looking even better.
Especially to deal with the Genji as well. I mean, someone like who are you needs to have an answer on your side, and they will find one. Zachary going for the kill onto Gator. He's very low, jumping back into his team. There's a Dragon Blade right into the support, and he actually does get purpled up, as we did see as well. Lethal pull out that Transcendence, so they will counter that out. Transcendence responded with by Alarm and batted into the corner. These supports have no way out. Wavy to die off as well. Fusion University have lasted just long enough to keep this fight going.
But how long can this team of Goats really look to stall this one out? 1 minute and 37 seconds left. 2 ticks already on the board. They cannot get back in. Sit does manage to do just that, but he's going to be the only member, and as a result, we will see 4 points on the board for Fusion University, as was 1 minute and 32 seconds left in their time bank.
6:37 though. 6:37. It's we've seen so many different attacks from Fusion University. I almost forgot that Goats have 6:37 in their time bank, and you already know what they're going to bring to the table, which composition they're going to pull out for their attack. Now, how is Fusion University going to answer in turn? Because yes, we know that they like to play the Junkrat or the Pharah to be able to counter it out. However, on a map like this, when they can just jump right into the point, are they going to be able to find the angles and surround Goats in time for them to get control and pull it away from Goats? Or is Goats going to get, you know, those first two ticks bring out the Coalescence. That's going to put a lot of pressure onto Who Are You, trying to find damage through a window or through some kind of doorway onto the point. That's where I think this is going to be a little bit scarier than other maps where we've seen Fusion University pull this particular composition out.
And we did see Sid toy with the idea of running that Tracer instead of the 303 setup, which we would have expected, but now having that Pharah paired up with the Junkrat, as you said, should be looking better overall for Fusion University to potentially stall this first point take or even hold it out throughout. But that's going to be a daunting task considering it's going to be 6 minutes and 30 seconds here to work with for this team of Goats.
Oh, this is a good trap because it's going to leave the Zarya behind. They're going to jump right into the front line and find Tensa, who is unprotected up there. And that's the Lucio out. You see a lot of times Lucio first to fall, but still surrounded. Once again, Fusion University looking to take more as Beast Halo does go down. Now onto the point, Goats go. This time Wavy coming back into position, still taking a lot of pressure though. And Who Are You with that Discord supporting will be able to find that kill. And we do see Fusion University taking this fight and stealing away the momentum as well from Goats, who need it now. Although Goats do come away with that first point tick.
So one small victory, but even with it, Erix, look at that. We do have the Transcendence ready. We have the Riptire ready. A lot more coming up as well for Fusion University. And while, yes, you do have the Earth Shatter soon enough, it's going to have to be an absolutely monstrous Earth Shatter coming out of Gator to secure the point, because there's so much up for Fusion University.
The other issue is that if you want to find damage inside of the Earth Shatter, you have to lower your defenses, and what's going to happen, you're not going to be able to get that Earth Shatter off onto Who Are You, Zachary, or Elk, who are all going to be up on high ground or in the air. And if you lower your defenses, those two are going to be able to farm even more onto your tank line and into your back line as well. So Beast Halo looking to be a little bit aggressive here. They're going to drop very early on, actually, the Barrage.
A little too early there. Who Are You gets taken out. However, Elk was able to get the Resurrect back through. In the meantime, Lethal gets taken out as well. We will see the self-destruct on both sides. However, it's not going to be any kills on either end. It's going to instead be Halo with the Primal Rage kill onto Gator. And as we see Who Are You get another, even the Riptire farm back up for Zachary to secure another one onto Tensa. And once again, we'll see Goats look to reset. And unfortunately for them, still only with that one tick.
4:30 now, so now getting around that time that Fusion University had for their attack. Coming back in for round 3, Goats have a lot in store for Fusion University, who don't have the answers that they had prior. You know, looking at those DPS ults, they need to generate these quickly. They need to use those tanks as batteries now.
We'll see Tensa, though, go down, and the big target at that, because Sombra will not be available soon enough. However, Transcendence not quite in time to save Elk, and as a result, we might just still see this prolonged brawl favor this side of Goats. Now looking to get Alarm out of the picture. Sid did get punished in the meantime, and as we will see, back it's going to be Kalug picking up a kill onto Who Are You, and finally, Goats seem to have found the space they needed.
And at about 3:40, they will take this as well as they look to clean up this point. Beast Halo goes down. The point will fall as well. Goats get it. And now they'll just look to charge right into this second point like they did the first time around. Though this time, they will be met by a lot of firepower, starting off with Who Are You, again using it very early into the fight and going down early as well.
But they did pop that Soundbear as a result, and Zachary's going to be available to get one kill with the Riptire. And now, as we will see even Elk go through in the backline unnoticed with that Mercy. Gets the res back off. Who Are You? In potential danger though, because the Coalescence did come out of Lethal, and now still looking to get on top of the point. Wavy somehow still alive, but does go through and use that Graviton, only catching once again getting that double off of the other ultimate.
Oh, he's trying to stay in this fight with the rest of his team, and they do have some healing coming through. Rally coming up pretty soon. If Sit can generate that, they might be able to stay in this one, and he pulls it out. Who Are You? Onto the Doomfist, takes Tensa out as well, and inside this projected barrier, or rather inside of this Winston bubble, they will stay safe for now. And Who Are You is in trouble. Does go down as Lethal goes over to protect. Gator now as well comes through with an Earth Shatter, and here's the Riptire. Can it find the kills? It does find Sit, but that's it.
And we'll see still, in terms of the member advantage, go in favor of the right-hand side. Goats now looking to potentially get the first pick on the board as Gator finds that Fire Strike kill onto Elk. Who are you on the Doofus? Still gets taken out. And 2 minutes and 35 seconds. We'll see Goats pick up that 4th point.
Goats actually did lose a lot of time on their time bank this time around, but I already mentioned how this was going to be, purely time bank style. This is going to be purely that classic 2CP of just run it in, high-scoring map. That's exactly what we're getting here between these two teams. Fusion University and Goats are definitely well on their way of running it high. I definitely think we're going to be seeing a 5th point capture for both of these teams. And the reason why I say that is because Fusion University is just starting things off early. They're going to go for this dive composition. However, they will be met by Goats on a 3-0-3. They're pulling this out again. They're not going to be going for that Torbjorn style that we've seen twice now in a row for this first point hold. And this will give them a lot more staying power. This will make sure that they rip away a lot more time from Fusion University. If they do fall, they will still at least take a lot of time away from Fusion University with that.
And now is where I question whether or not they were playing the mind games all along, because they're setting themselves up so aggressively. Pulling out that strat 2 times in a row makes it so that Fusion University seems to be going for this particular dive right from the gate. And on the other side now with the 3-0-3, Goats.
I mean, they're going to be holding out. It's just going to be, they're going to be lying in wait here. Fusion University, are they going to be even able to sense this out? Are they going to check it? Because they're on this dive composition. They're looking for them. They don't spot them yet. They know they go right for him, and Goats do not have the element of surprise.
They do not have the element of surprise, but we'll see them charge right back onto that objective. Make sure no ticks go through. Zachary did manage to fight himself all the way through those flank lines, but now still no kills going in on the other side. Lethal will be rapidly charging up that Coalescence with all of that AoE healing, and he needs to open it up and push the opposition away.
Fusion University, they lost Krakenlaken's mech. They've also lost Zachary as well. They had an opportunity to take down Gator in the beginning. They just didn't find it, and because of that, they now have only 50 seconds left, and Goats have fended off the Contenders champions from just a few weeks ago. I mean, how crazy is this that the winner of the Open division is taking on the winner of the Contenders division and has a shot at taking the lead in the series?
This is going to be one potential final attempt coming out of Fusion University with, again, that Pharah Junkrat combo. However, already set up on the point. Goats will look to meet him halfway there. Wavy looking to get that Graviton already online.
Who are you on this Pharah? Looking for that opening, putting pressure into the back line. Lethal doesn't see him just yet, but they notice the pressure, so they rotate their composition to adjust for that. There's the Graviton. It takes almost everyone inside of it. Kalu looking for the kills. Will find just Zachary, but that might be enough as overtime is now in progress. They haven't found anything. Zachary's back into this fight. Earthshatter comes out, not going to find anything as it's blocked out by the barrier from the Winston, and now he's looking to reset. Look how aggressive Gator's being now to Zachary. He can't pull away. He did have the Riptire, but he will not be able to be the hero that Fusion University needs. They get nothing. Now have to defend 235 from Goats, who, I mean, they have been very efficient with their attacks.
And more importantly, 33% is all they need. Just one tick on the board. And with 2 minutes and 35 seconds left for them to do that, considering that we would expect to see a 3-0-3 composition out of them, the thing is, with that brawl style, if they just go rush straight into the point, they will be able to have that extra staying power and potentially get that first tick.
Yeah, I mean, every time that Goats pushes in, they either get the first tick very early, I mean, sometimes even the second, or they are very close to getting the first tick rather. So, I mean, at this point, Goats have to feel very comfortable with the time bank that they have allotted for themselves to be able to push into this point and get control. Fusion University have to find some way to not only be able to fend them off long term, but also to be able to have some kind of ability to hang on onto this control point and not give up that first tick. And you see them making adjustments to in consideration of that. Who Are You is going to be on the Zarya, Krakenlaken on the Brigitte, and this is so that they have, 2-3 people to be able to stick onto that point, keep everybody else, off it, still create those multiple layers of threat. different angles to be taken by Fusion University, but still have someone on the point to be able to deal with the pressure. But still, 3 versus 6 in an all-out brawl, gonna be tough.
And we'll see whether or not Goats can take the lead in this series. They will look to surge forward. Lethal already forced to use that fade. Will be in a pretty dangerous spot, but look at that. Already, Kalug able to find the first blood, gets the second, and Fusion University might just be out of it already. And they don't even get on top of the point.
That's what I was mentioning, having those 3 people to contest the point, having Kraken Lacken, Beast, Halo, and Who Are You on Brigitte, Reinhardt, and Zarya respectively, you have to have them all alive. And when you're going in, you can see how Goats all lost a bunch of HP as they were just taking so much pressure from Zachary right off the bat. A lot of cleave damage coming out from Beast, Halo, and Kraken Lacken as well. But because of the Moira, and I think that was the big difference maker in this situation, they received a lot more healing. They kept everybody back alive and was able to deal with that massive AoE pressure long enough to find the first pick and then go forward where Kraken Lacken didn't have that same kind of melee level protection from the Reinhardt to be able to swing away with them, that they didn't have anybody left. They had the Zarya and, that's it. They were going to lose the point no matter what.
And at this point, we are at match point in favor of Goats. Not something most people probably expected, but
I didn't expect it.
We will find out whether or not they can close this one out or if Fusion University turns it back away into their favor. Don't go anywhere. It is 2-1 for GOATS, and now Fusion University on the back burner need to turn things around, and it's going to have to be on Dorado.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, match point right now for GOATS. We're, again, talking about the Open Division winners versus the contenders winners, almost like collegiate there. I mean, they have a guy here that isn't even in the age for college, but still, Fusion University going to be playing their hearts out here. They have to play their hearts out here to be able to take this on Dorado on a map that the 303 comp, especially on first point and the last point, is very, very solid. So we already know that they have a couple of ways to answer it. One in particular going to be the Junkrat and the Pharah together in tandem. But aside from that, how are they going to find a way? I mean, double sniper surely going to be coming out at some point, I would have to say. Maybe in the second phase, particularly for GOATS, Sit and Wavy like to play those if they have the option. But if things start flowing with the 303, not only will they stick to it, but Fusion University might actually continue having a rough time with that, especially as things start, because it seems as though every time the 303 comes out, they find an answer, but they give up a lot of time in the process.
And I also, on top of that, want to proclaim early on, of course, into the tournament that GOATS are the king of mind games, because after running that same composition on defense 2 times in a row, it seems like Fusion University just thought, okay, they're going to surely run that, go for the dive, which definitely bit him in the back. But we will be ready to go with Dorado once again on the red-hand side. It is going to be GOATS up 2-1 in the fashion versus Fusion University.
They were spotted out there, though, but this time on Dorado here, as we look at this current map, GOATS are running that same 303 comp. Double sniper actually coming out defensively from Fusion University. I talked about how that was going to likely come, but I didn't think defensively for point A. They still are going to use it. They're finding the damage they actually need to get right now. That was another point I was trying to make as well. When you play against this composition, you need to find a way to get damage early. You need to kind of find ways to crack them before they actually engage, before they get that speed boost from Tensa, because as soon as Tensa pops that E, as soon as they come charging in, if they're at full health, there is not a chance that you are going to have in most scenarios to win that fight.
That was the big thing we were talking about. You need to find those losers. You need to find the Moira without that fade available. But now as we look to see the rest of Gators, we'll have on top of that payload. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Who are you? Let's pick up that entry kill onto Gator with the Storm Arrows. We'll have soon enough that Dragon Strike ready to go. It's going to be Colossus coming out. Zachary finds another one out to set up the Earth does come through. Sits 2 of them down. And now who are you with a double kill? Making that a third. He gets Collusion's mech for his troubles as well. And it will be Fusion University striking back.
They do not want to go out, not now. Playing their hearts out is what they needed, and that's exactly what they're doing here in front of us today. They also have the Valkyrie ready, but that's it right now. And going up against this 303 comp, once they start generating that combo that they like to play with Wavy and Kalug together, dropping in that self-destruct on top of the Graviton, it's time and time again, it has worked and worked and worked. Here they are engaging behind this rally. Speed boost coming in. They're going to dive right in. They're going to find Kraken Lacken once again very early. And again, this Graviton will be ready, but I don't think they're going to need it.
Since they already gotten 2 kills, the Resurrect was there. Zachary finding still another kill. He is still uncontested on that grind. Gets 2 more, and finally Kalug sets the sights on him. But did that buy enough time for this side of Fusion University? Contest Beast Halo somehow still alive, does finally go down. Alarm does have the Transcendence, but only Zachary left up to the point. Earth Shatter did come through out of Gator, but it's still going to be a back and forth as the rest of the defensive side will regroup. However, unable to get onto that payload. We will see GOATS have 3 minutes and 52 seconds left on their second point push.
Yeah, that was a hard miss on the Earth Shatter from Gator, but they still got it done, pushing through. You see this aggression, this follow-through from this composition, from this team of GOATS. And 337, as we see this double sniper. Looks like they're going to stick with this at the moment. Zachary hasn't swapped off yet, and he will not at this stage. They're going to be looking to play off the high ground, try to find some angles to work with. I expect one of Who Are You and Zachary to try to work their way around and get into the flank so that they can start damaging the backside of this Brawl composition, start putting some damage into the supports if they can find them. Although this time around, it doesn't look like that's the case just yet.
The block for the Earth Shatter will force out that Graviton in response to secure the team fight win as Gator continues to surge forward with the rest of his team. They will only have Zachary left. He does give up his life in the end just so he can regroup with the rest of his team as soon as possible. But once more, Goats continuing to lay down the pain train.
The aggression displayed at the end of that point A take and the time that it took to set up from Fusion University, we only saw one fight. We only saw one fight in that entire stretch of the map here on Dorado as Goats, turning things back around from what was a good start for Fusion University.
This seems to be the composition they keep going back to here for Fusion University to try and deal with this brawly composition. Zachary back onto that Junkrat. We'll look for more. The self-destruct will force Beast Halo in a potential bad spot, but now looking to finally contest the payload. We'll have the rally come out of set. Secures the first kill onto Kraken Lacken, and continuously it's been all about Goats.
Who are you up top? Alarm still finding kills despite everybody else around him falling. Tensa does get hit. Who are you has hung on, but the Coalescence, that's going to take down the Pharah as Kraken Lacken looking to come back into this one. He's going to get reduced to almost nothing before it comes out. There's the Riptire. Will find lethal. They're so close, only 2.5 meters away from taking this. 3 minutes on the clock now as they are swinging away. Sit on the point. Gator coming in soon as well, and they do get the sound barrier to stick through this. They might be able to sit through the Who Are You's barrage, but to still go out. Goats need to get these kills on the board so that they can secure this objective, and they so far haven't closed it out just yet.
But Wavy still has that armor. He's gonna be charged up. Sorry, Lethal coming back from spawn will make things very difficult potentially here for Fusion University to make sure that they recoup, especially with Gator even staying alive. And we'll see this team fight just go on for such a long time. Riptire finally coming out of play though. We'll look to find those targets. He really didn't even need it, as in the end it was Beast Halo who did get that. Reinhardt. Tensa did go out, and finally Fusion University recovered, but so much distance covered by Goats.
What a fantastic stall by Fusion University. I actually thought, and I really did think that Goats was going to be able to take it right there. It didn't seem like Fusion University was going to be able to come back into that one, but you know, after that Riptire came through, they were able to really kind of separate that Brawl comp as well, and allowed them to start isolating members of this team. Goats fell right after that, but re-engaging now. Wavy taking some pressure early, getting down pretty low, and Who Are You will find that kill.
But 2 more kills do come in here for the side of Goats, and Who Are You still looking to be a big factor here. Will go down. India self-destruct was angled. Not back in time. Zachary. Too late. The Riptire finds the kills, but not when they needed it the most.
Someone needed to be on that point to help support. I mean, you get a Riptire like that, you have impact like that with anything, you might be able to come back with that respawn advantage, the distance that you have as opposed to what they're working with. You might be able to get back into that fight and make yet another stall and get things down below a minute at the very least. However, at that point, you know, they might have been able to do more than that. So unfortunate for Fusion University, but hats off to Goats, because again, they have managed to take, I mean, they've been able to move this payload all the way through. They got 3 points. They have 1:37. If it does come into, you know, post-regulation time, they are looking fantastic right now. They're up 2-1. I mean, can any more be said about these guys?
And it was very surprising to see after what looked like a stellar opening for Fusion University of Dorado, having a really good time, especially with Who Are You on that Hanzo, being able to get those picks, find a lot of damage through that Dragon Strike as well. It was going into the second phase once Goats pushed through, all about them. They didn't even lose a single team fight, and there was only one team fight at that too.
Yeah, and that was so interesting about that, because Fusion University is not a team to let that slide, and they did just that. Now, looking to engage off this next one, we do see Alarm actually on the Moira, I believe for the first time in this series, as they're swapping their composition up for their attack. Goats is interestingly on a 2-2-2 straight dive, running Tracer and Genji. That is not something I expected to see today.
but we do know Wavy can definitely play this hero to great results, and now something that Fusion University might not be expecting. We'll look to see how it plays out. Sid already looking to contest Wario and Elk in disguise. We'll have Beast Halo scout things out on that high ground, but it's gonna be, once again, look at Goats playing aggressively, making sure that they stall it out once more, even with this type of composition.
Ooh, Gator getting pretty low. Wavy taking some pressure as well. They need to finish out these kills. Zachary finds both flankers as Gator does get away, but a big opening now, a big hole in the defenses as they don't have the damage to support this fight, and they will fall out. Fusion University takes the first one, and now have 318 to push the rest of the way as they work their way into the market.
We'll see however it goes. Have another shot at positioning the cells for a potential stall, but the big problem right now is the fact that not only do they not have a positional advantage, they also have an old economy disadvantage, but the Wavy finding the kill onto Zachary might be exactly what they needed.
Who are you going forward? Oh, they need to find that Mercy. And they didn't just yet. They will send the self-destruct over the top. Not going to have the same value as what we saw from Kaluk so far. Sit holding on to this pulse bomb. It looks like he's looking for an opportunity to find some value with that as well. And this fight has dragged on. And it looks like Fusion University will pull away. Wait for the rest of them to collate, come back together, and look to re-engage soon. Oh, there's the stick!
Oh, it gets a big one once again onto Zachary, but the Resurrect was there as a resource available, and Elk not really being contested means that they will manage to bring it back up. But once again, we'll look to see whether or not the blade will force out the Transcendence. There it is, but Krakenlakin does lose his suit for his troubles. Now forced to disengage, it's gonna be Wavy going down. SRU does have the barrage at the ready, looking for the Stargate, gets a D-suit and the kill, but does go down as well.
That's an okay trade, I think, at this stage of the fight, because you already took out two of the members that have their ultimates. Now you need to take Lethal out quickly before he gets too close to having his Transcendence. They take him at about 84%. I think, you know, later on their coach is going to look at this and be like, I wish we would have got him a little bit sooner. Maybe we kept track of him in that last fight, but they will cap out the first point. You get what you can get at this stage. And Goats now looking to set up once again. They have double sniper as opposed to the double flanker that we saw before.
And this is something we've seen quite a bit of them out of the open division. We'll have Beast Halo alongside the rest of his team look to potentially contest him on that high ground as Zachary will be looking for the sidelines as well. Does have that hook to get a little bit of damage off, but with the infra side at the ready, rest of Ghosts will be scouted out and Lethal potentially forced into a tough spot, but it's gonna be Sid going down in that sniper battle.
And Lethal will have that Transcendence this time around, but not before two members have been sniped out. Tensa under pressure, does manage to get that res onto Sid, but that has pulled the Mercy way out of position here, and now with the Mercy out in the open, Tensa will fall to Beast Halo with that Tesla cannon, and Zachary, uncontested on the high ground now, has just found kill after kill. Oh, up. That's awkward.
Well, you know, for his troubles, he did get the work done that he needed to do. Zachary definitely do his job on that Widowmaker.
It looked like me playing Widowmaker for a second. It was me versus me on Widowmaker.
Well, at the very least, in the bright side here for Fusion University, Who Are You does have the Dragon Strike at the ready. We'll look to see how he's going to open things up potentially for the rest of his team. He's going to go ahead and use it. Krakenlakin takes out that first kill onto Lethal with two members already down here for Goats. Fusion University might claim that second point, but in the meantime, Tensa with the Valk just gets to contest Zachary.
That's one of the best things you can hope for when you throw out a blind Dragon Strike to try to contest the main entry point of the opposing team, is that the Winston will jump through it. And that's exactly what happened. It left Gator very low before that fight even really got a good start. We saw Kaluk come up as well. It took a little bit of heat from it, but nonetheless, when you take the tanks from Goats out of the equation, especially knowing how good they are and how pivotal they can be in some of these fights, that's huge.
We'll see now back at the free composition. Self-destruct launched into the room. However, the shield will be there for Ghosts, looking to brawl this one out once again. The best thing that this team composition can really hope for. Now surging forward, Zachary though with that chunk breath will be dishing out a lot of damage with Who Are You. Kaluk does manage to find the target in the sky, but Once again, we'll have Fusion University have a relatively easy time pushing things forward. Now with Kalug out of the picture.
They need to make sure they're dealing with Gator, who's contesting it, so that they can get some free payload movement during some of these fights that actually do kind of wind up getting a little bit more staggered than others. Still, though, playing this 3-0-3 composition that they've been on for a little bit now with Zachary and Who Are You, unleashing all of this AoE pressure. We're seeing the Riptire ready as Zachary pulls it out. Gonna need to find some value with this. Gonna need to find some kills. They do demech Kalug. That's actually massive as they find the kill as well.
They should have that Transcendence available to secure this point as Alarm continues to be an absolute menace on this Zenyatta. And we'll see the Coalescence be the answer. The Air Shatter, though, will prompt that Transcendence. And in the end, things are still looking on the up and up for Fusion University. But as Gator is still firing back with a good charge onto Zachary. Kalug back from spawn with that Doomfist does manage to find one kill. Gator takes out Elk as well.
3 backhands, man. 3 backhands from Beast Halo to take Kalug out of the picture. Kraken lacking with the self-destruct over the top as well. Will take out Tensa, and there it is again. Who Are You bringing out the barrage 1.95 meters away. They have a decent time, but they're gonna have to pull back, and that's gonna allow for swaps to happen once again. Kalug gonna be dropping that Doomfist that did get battered away by Beast Halo, and another opportunity here for Fusion University.
But the big problem is that they committed so much in terms of those ultimates. They don't really have anything to work with. It's gonna be down to the likes of Zachary to really dish out that damage, charge it up through those tanks. But now Gator looking to get a kill will be punished, and with the 65 advantage now for Fusion University, they might just get that third objective.
Wavy is working his way along the sides, though. Zachary up top. Man, look at the pressure onto Kalush. They're all stacked up. They're taking all of this damage from Who Are You and Zachary. Here comes the Riptire over the top. They have the Sound Bearer looking for these kills. They're taking it right over to the backside where Gator and Lethal get taken down.
And they need to make this one a swift final point tank because they're already down to 55 seconds. Pulse Bomb will come through. However, he will go down for his troubles. And in the end, Fusion University just looking to push them away. Will have the map completion. But it's still such a tough one to call. Back and forth. Insane plays from both teams.
All right, so as they did go under a minute, extra time allotted to Goats. They have 148, and it's going to be Fusion University attacking first. So going into this attack, we expect a dive. Fusion University look great with a dive, and it's just about adapting their DPS to whatever Goats are actually pulling out. So it seems like they're kind of towing the line a little bit. They're just going to be kind of on the fence and doing something that caters to a lot of different things that could come from Goats. So they're going to be bringing in both the Widowmaker and the Pharah. So Who Are You has been fantastic with this character. I mean, he's really put in a lot of damage. I think this is a good pick for them against what we're seeing come out right now from the defensive side. However, Zachary on this Widowmaker is going to have to get into a good angle or have to make a swap quickly back over to the Junkrat if they want to get some value with the minute that they have.
But the thing is, with so much aerial space, Zachary should have quite a bit of room to work with in terms of finding those sidelines to get those kills. And with Dorado here on this first point, so many options will be available. But once again, considering the composition at hand, Goats potentially looking to play this one once again aggressively.
And Beast Halo, I mean, they do spot it out now. Zachary going to go over the top. Look at this aggression already from Goats. They're diving right in, and Kraken Lakin hits Lethal with micro missiles to the face, boosted up by the Mercy as well. Look how good he's been about that. And now going over to Who Are You, as they're going to be able to clean up. This is the second time on this first fight that Fusion University take it.
And with this team fight win, they will manage to get a lot of distance on that payload. They will manage to build up those ultimates. While yes, it is 25 seconds left, we'll see some adaptation come out of Goats, and this is gonna be interesting. I'm not quite sold that this will do the trick.
Ooh.
But Wavy back onto the Genji, full on dive.
It's interesting because they're gonna get aggressive. They're gonna dive into the backline. There's not as much to protect Alarm and Elk back there, but still a lot of, you know, easy pressure that can come from Who Are You. He has the barrage. He could go ahead and dump that over the top very quickly. Overtime going now, and they're looking for an opportunity to engage. Who Are You waiting, biding his time to unleash this barrage, as we do see the barrier come out from Gator. They're kind of low. This might be it.
And it is a 1-for-1 trade. However, who are you pulling out the barrage? Secures another onto Gator. Tensa does go through with the Resurrect. Zachary brought back up. He should have the Riptire available, but he needs to secure a lot of important kills with it. Now Alarm having that Transcendent self-destruct from top. Kalud, though, finds that tire, and as the team fight will still go through, Fusion University rapidly running out of options. The Blade now charged up. It will see kills potentially coming out. Wavy looking for more. Alarm, though, shuts him down.
Sit still in this fight. They do have the pulse bomb ready to get that last minute kill if they need to. As Alarm pulls back, has a Discord on him. Sit will find that kill. Who are you desperately trying to turn this fight? Heroic play from the Genji, not gonna happen this time. And Goats make the stop just past the archway. I actually do really like that adaptation that they made, going over to that full dive, full on, you know, with the two flankers, having Tracer and Genji back in there and just diving in on them, contesting the point and taking the fight eventually. You know, it was a great push from them. Fusion University didn't have the weapons that they really needed to combat that. They really wanted something else. You know, a Brigitte at that point would have been great, but it's so hard to make an adjustment like that when Goats comes flying out of their spawn with brand new heroes to enter the fray. And Fusion University just weren't ready for it that time around. Now have to defend 148 as Goats are in a fantastic position to possibly take this match over the contenders winners, Fusion University.
And I think it really came down to who are you making things happen for his team, because as you said, while they had the dive composition for themselves, Goats were able to find those kills onto those squishy members of Fusion University. And now, as we will see potentially Elk run that Ana, I mean, we've seen a bunch of it on those assault maps, especially out of Elk in particular. We'll look to shut down a potential dive out of their position, but so far, is that free? Oh, free.
Fusion University have to find a composition that is going to be able to answer so many different things. They don't have the ability to go back to spawn and make swaps to answer any kind of adjustments made by Goats. So Goats are in the driving seat right now, and Fusion University is just going to be along for the ride.
And so far, we'll see them both collapse on top of that payload. However, high ground advantage will still be in favor of Fusion University, but as the fight will continue to just go on and on.
Oh, that's a good biotic
of Ghost, but with the Bionate only pushing them back just a tiny bit, it's still overall looking great for them.
Zachary needs to get back into this fight quickly, because who are you? Oh, somehow gets the healing, I believe from Elk, who's very close to having a nano boost. They'll need that to re-engage and look for them to do it very soon. 1 minute left on the clock. Who is Elk gonna decide to throw it up onto? Who are you? Needs the healing, though he misses the shot, so who are you goes down. Zachary into this fight once again. They have Alarm with the Transcendence to allow for the stall. 50 seconds on the clock. Kalu goes up with the self-destruct, doesn't find the kill, but finds the spacing their team needs to continue pushing this payload, and Alarm falls. There's no supports left at all for Fusion University.
And at this point, I just can't see how they can make it happen. Beast Halo needs to be big here with that Primal Rage. Just look to push them away. Earthshatter comes through. Blade back for Who Are You? However, unable to find the kills he needs. It will seem like Ghost looking to close this one out. They have the Graviton. They have all the members. And they get the 3-1 win versus Fusion University.
Fusion University was the team we expected to have all the answers. They have historically been that team, but this time not gonna happen. Goats takes it 3-1. Again, the open division winners versus the contenders winners, and Goats take it with this insane composition that Tensa apparently, again, just randomly came up with one day. And now we see Fusion University in the losers bracket after just one game.
Just round one, and they're already down in the losers side of things. But once again, we got to give it to Goats. Definitely playing it out really well. Not only when it comes to that comp they, in a sense, pioneered, but also swapping things out when needed and playing those other heroes exceptionally.
Yeah, because that's a big point I want to make. Yes, we've seen teams do well with 3-0-3, but something that I think that you have to, respect Goats at least a little bit for is the fact that they do run that. And they are very solid with it. I mean, to be able to take on a team like Fusion University, you have to be solid at whatever you're doing. but then to also come back and have the 2-2-2 and not just one look of 2-2-2. We're not talking about, just running a Hanzo Pharah or something like that. We're talking about running the double sniper. We're talking about running double flank. We're talking about Genji Tracer, this the regular dive, and not one but two maps. And to be able to completely turn a series around after losing the first map of Lijiang Tower and go 3-0 to follow that,